welcome to the 4th episode of Flashlight Fanatics. Today we're going to talk about Laser Excited Phosphor modules and torches. So you're here with Tim McMahon and
Darren Yeo.
Yeah, cool. So we've got a couple of modules. So there's is that the TX from Blue Lake, Flamingo?
Yeah, was
This
it
one?
T? What does it say on the side of the T?
Yeah, that's the TX. Yeah.
Yep.
And we got the NT2. So I think the TX is a bit more powerful, and it's got this it's a 33mm zoomable lens, so we can zoom in and out. I'll just hook it up.
How many watts is your one, Tim? So that one there.
I think it's at like 10 watts. It's not as, I think yours is at 19 watts.
Yeah. So these were sent to us by a company called Blue Lake / Flamingo Light, and they manufacture all the LEP modules for pretty much all of your favorite LEP flashlights out there. So they were kind enough to send us a couple of samples. 19.2 watts for the one to the left, and Tim, I don't know what's yours.
I think it's about 11 roughly. Yeah, 11 watts like the NT2.
Yeah.
So I think they got like, yeah, if you look at this Amu torch BT35, it's an inexpensive LEP torch, but takes an 18650 and it's got quite a nice beam. So it's sort of an EDC.
How many lumens is that one?
Not many, maybe 300-400, or
Yeah.
it's not that much, but the candela is pretty good. I think it's must be get like a kilometer, or at least a kilometer with this one.
Yeah, slightly warm looking beam as well.
You can have it a quick side by side with this one.
So which one's this?
That's the TX module.
Yeah.
And that's I think it's zoomed in.
Yeah, which is it?
Yep.
Yeah, that is completely zoomed in.
Yep.
And this is with the included demo 30mm lens, so that sort of zooms in and out, but it is a 3D printed lens. It's not a final production lens. Still pretty good though. But it's not going to beat those glass aspheric lenses that you get with a lot of those finished flashlights out there.
So I went and found to make this portable. When you get the kit from the website, we'll link it below in the description for Blue Lake or Flamingo. But when you get the kit, it comes with, I think, a 12-volt 2-amp power supply, and you just plug it into your AC power supply. But I wanted to take this portable, so I've got a power bank that's capable of USB-C power delivery, but it can do about 12 volts 3 amp out, and this little cable will tell my power bank to output 12 volts 3 amps, and then this little DC plug is a 5.5 by 2.5 millimeter DC plug. It's got center positive pin, so that's the type of plug you need to connect to this kit. And there's like a switch, so the kit has a switch and it just hooks up to this driver, and the driver takes a wide range of voltages and currents, and I think it outputs like 4 volts 6 amps or something. Oh, what's the
12 to
I have to look at the
24?
data sheet.
Yeah.
Like the outputs, I think, it's 19 something watts, so it's a bit more than this one. But yeah, I think what started it off, I think the BT35 or no, actually.
Yeah, what got you first? What got you into LEPs in the first place? When did you hear about them? Because this was news to me when I started getting back into flashlights. I think you already had a couple.
Yeah, I was really lucky. Like,
Yeah.
Adam from Light Shop, he actually gifted me this Weltool W4 Pro. I think last year, geez, time's flying. ABC came around and did a bit of a story about flashlights, and I got talking with Adam, and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool to play around with a Weltool, like an LEP, and I just named this one. He's like, oh yeah, I'll send you that one. I'm like, what? No. So it's a really, really powerful torch. It's
Oh man, that's
so
it's got a really small hotspot, but it's so intense.
you get a couple of kilometers of that, and
Yeah.
I usually check the flight paths before shining this in the sky, because it could
That's very responsible of you, Tim.
Yeah,
That's very responsible.
Don't point lasers or flashlights, like powerful flashlights, up in the sky at a helicopter or a plane because that's illegal and you're going to cause issues. You don't want to get arrested like someone in Adelaide did. I think they were playing around with a torch near an airport and they got arrested for doing that. So yeah, don't deliberately annoy pilots with a flashlight. These are pretty powerful, but that's what got me into LEPs because and this one's quite expensive, the Weltool W4 Pro. But after that, Neil's Gadgets sent me this AmiTorch BT35, which is about $100 US. It's much more affordable compared to the Weltool, which is 400 or 600 Australian dollars.
It's very compact as well, isn't it? Like
that's a 18650 size one. It's
the head of that's really compact. It reminds me of a Convoy M2, not the M21B, but the M2. It's
got the Thyrum switchback clone, like a little no brand tactical ring.
And you find with a lot of LEP lights, because they do have those large heads to fit their spheric lens, it's a bit unwieldy to carry around. But this is awesome.
Oh, that's something that
Kind of want one of these.
I don't know if you can pick this up on the...
Even reflects off the water as well, which is pretty amazing.
The modules are so tiny. Like, when you see the head of these big LEP torches, they're massive with the lens. Like, the lens makes them big, but the actual module is so tiny. It's just that little miniature module. So, yeah, you've got... Seems like more opportunity to play off the modules, and it would be cool to see people just buy these and do custom mods and make their own flashlights, because it wasn't really accessible before. Now, like, flashlight manufacturers could get the sample kits and go and update the drivers and the design and produce heaps of torches, but that's quite expensive to do. And now the Blue Lake and Flamingo Optic are selling them to the public.
Would you have an idea of how you'd put these into a light, like for an average person to maybe put into a Convoy light or just some basic host?
I think the easiest, personally, the easiest would be to take an NT2 module, because it's just, it's got 2 screws and you can just screw it down onto an existing shelf of a torch to transfer the heat.
Yeah.
Where the threaded one, the TX module, you'd have to get the right diameter host and thread it in properly, otherwise the heat won't transfer out to the host. I think it might be a lot more difficult to find the perfect diameter host to put inside, to put the module inside.
Yeah, I reckon they probably, that one there, the screw-in host, must be made for a particular torch or brand, and then who knows? But
I know exactly which one they're in, but we're probably not allowed to say.
That's a secret.
Commercial in confidence. But yeah, these are obviously being used by a lot of different flashlight companies.
Yeah.
And you can open up the torches to see, but nobody wants to destroy their LEP torches just to find out.
It's a bit too expensive to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me with LEP lights, the biggest thing initially when I got into lights was, I just wanted to get a light with the highest amount of output. For me, that was the most important thing, because I didn't know too much about lights, but you'd see all these lights out there, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 lumens, and most of them kind of fake anyway if you look on eBay. But I started out with those, but the thing that really got me hooked was the Candela, the long distance throwy flashlights, and I don't know how to explain it, but they just look so cool. Like this one here was one of the first LEPs I got, and this is from a company called Next Torch, the T20L. They also sent me another one called the T10L, a smaller version of that. It's larger than the it's BT35.
Yep.
Yeah,
a little bit bigger, but looks still compact.
Yeah, it's very light as well. The BT35. I'm quite surprised. It's it's a nice little EDC, but this one's got the T20L's got quite a large hotspot, and
more practical with the wider hotspot. It's not like a pin you can see.
Yeah, it's unusual with a fixed beam LEP light for it to have such a large hotspot. You do get some of those zoomable ones these days, like the W35, but yeah, that's what really got me into it. I mean, initially I picked up some other throwy lights like the Convoy M21B with some of the throwy LEDs in it, something like the Osram W2. That's tactical light here, Army Tech Predator Pro. But for example, this Convoy S8 with the Osram W2. I mean, that really throws quite a bit, but the LEPs just have no spill as well.
You've got the Ace Beam Terminator M2 there as well.
Oh yeah, we both got
Yeah.
ours. Let's have a look. For some reason, one of them is. We were testing these last time. One of them was. This one was a little brighter for some reason. Is it? Is it just me or?
I can't tell right now.
I reckon.
I think yours was a bit brighter.
Yeah. I reckon the left is a little bit brighter, but then your spill beam's brighter on yours.
But this, it reminds me of like going to a concert or like theater or something, and you've got the spotlight coming down onto the person.
Yeah.
Or in a spheric type zoomy torch. Even though this doesn't zoom, it's just a fixed lens.
Well, the LEDs are circular, which when you look at the dye on the LEP flashlights, they're like tiny, but I guess this just replicates like an LEP beam, but just on a larger scale.
And I think they're using like a Nightcore or the same company that Nightcore is using for the spotlight.
Oh, really?
I think the LEDs are new.
The UH ultra high intensity LEDs.
Like the circular one, it's some special one from that Nightcore's custom ordered, and I think Ace Beam custom ordered from the same supplier.
All right, yeah, I didn't know that.
But they don't normally talk about their suppliers and like to keep them secret.
Yeah,
which is fair enough.
Love this. I really love this beam. It makes it so useful as large hotspot as well. Not much spill with these aspheric lenses.
I think it's a lot more affordable too. Like you might find that Ace Beam and Next Torch, I think they're going to release more torches that have a lot of throw, but they've got just regular LED modules, high candela, but not so much the LEP.
Yeah.
But the trade-off there is you're going to have a bigger host. I think it's the Ace Beam P20. It's like a big hunting style flashlight.
P20. I've heard of that one.
It's literally, it looks bigger than a W4, like a Weltool W4 Pro.
Yeah. Is it new? Did they just, or it's been out for a little bit?
I hope I'm not really. Yeah, I think it's on the website. I'm pretty sure it's been publicly mentioned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see one or two of them when I visited Ace Beam.
Yeah. So large diameter head and
it's like a long tube.
Yeah.
So you can, it's got the battery and the long tube. I'm not sure if it's double 18650 or 21700, like two in a row, or I remember it being quite long and having a really big head. It might be bigger than the W4 Pro.
Wow, okay.
And
it's got an LED.
Yeah, it's got like a big circular LED like in the Nightcore and the ACM M2, but I think it might be a different design. But
yeah, in the Nightcore they call theirs the UHI ultra high intensity. They got the 2040 series. They've got, I know there's 100 and something in the middle, maybe a 70.
So it's not sure which way. I think some of the factories or brands are going more towards these high intensity, high candela LEDs as opposed to LEP modules, but you've got all these different LEP modules. If you check out the recent video that Ted Smith put out, he's got so many modules on display and there's all these different kits. So yeah, it just seems really awesome. Unless, I mean, the Wuben A1's like one of the best throwers on the market for the LED perspective.
I mean, this one's pretty nice. I don't know, because we tried to adjust the camera before to make it so that it wouldn't blow out, but there's just no way. I mean, look at that.
Four times SBT 90.2.
90.2, yeah. And then, I mean, if you compare it to an LEP flashlight that has pretty much quite similar throw, the Next Torch T20L. But you got the...
There's the W4.
W4. I mean...
Not even... I mean, it seems more intense, the W4 Pro, but it's not as practical as the A1's like a way better searchlight. Sorry, Weltool. But yeah, if you want to use a big searchlight, probably the Wuben A1 is the way to go, because you can see clearly like 5-10 meters across.
And there's tons of spill as well. With the LEPs, you're not going to get any spill, but that's the point of it. You know, it's just a focused sort of spotting beam. People might use it mounted, or you can, yeah, just use it as a spotting tool, spotting device, long range.
Got the Matminco. It's just like the W4 Pro.
Yeah. Is that the F? Is that F?
FW1. It's also the Astrolux WP3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Astrolux WP3 is like the similar or same as the Matminco FW1.
Yeah. Just a rebadged version.
Yep.
There's something up there looking at us from the tree. You see that? It's like an animal or something there. Like just the eyes.
Might be a possum
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, it's gone
It's a
now.
lot of possums.
We've spooked it.
There's a little mini lumen top.
Christ, turn this
There we
off.
go. So that's a lumen top pedal. There we go.
What about compared to the BT? Is that? Let's have a look. That's
Very.
it is. Yeah, very
It might be
similar,
on low or high. You have to. Is that on higher? Or?
Oh, just press the back.
I think if you turn it on and off again, it'll just. Yeah, that's.
Oh,
high.
okay. Yeah, that's high. Low. So just got high, low.
The lumen top looks a bit more intense, but
Yeah.
even though it's a 16340 cell, and yeah, the lumen top one is like a really tiny LEP module.
What would you recommend? I mean, for someone that's maybe getting their first LEP flashlight, best bang for buck and performance. What do you reckon?
Like, I was just
What if you're out
thinking,
there?
like, if you just want to get an LEP torch, if you check out my review of the AmuTorch BT35, it's just a really nice small EDC-able. It's got 2 modes, just low and high. It's really easy to use. There's a big button at the back, 18650. There's no built-in charging. It's really a basic torch. Yeah, it's simple. It's relatively cheap because there's not a lot of these are pretty expensive, especially I think the lumen tops. They've got so many different LEP torches from lumen top, but they're really you're looking at like a couple of $100 Australian, really, unless you can get them on special, like the Thor 3. Sometimes it's on special for $150, so the Thor 3 would be another good recommendation if you can find it on special. But yeah, maybe NT2 would be a good module to play with if you're trying to mod.
You can burn stuff with it too.
Yeah.
Do we have a bit of paper? I don't know. Use my shoe.
Do like the beam, if you zoom out, it'll make the focal point really close, and then crosses over and makes a wide beam.
Find a leaf or something.
I don't know, start a bushfire.
Oh, I got a leaf here. There we go. You can try.
Let's plug it in.
Yeah. Usually it works better with darker objects, eh?
I'll see if
Use
there's
some darker bits of paper.
probably. Let's zoom out. So
Look at it as well, buddy.
I can see the beam there.
Yeah.
There we go.
Let's try.
I don't know if anyone can see it from a distance, but that'll
Is it some...
pretty intense.
I'm gonna go blind if I look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty. Jeez, there we go. That's on fire.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, man. I've got like this
That,
blind spot now in my eye. It's definitely smoking though. Is that the 19 watt one or?
no, this is just the 11 watt one,
Yeah.
so it's
Try
burnt a hole through the middle.
Yeah, try the 19 watt one and see how that. Surely that would be a bit more. I remember I got mine going the other day.
Just something to keep in mind if you're using like the.
And is that power bank putting out maximum power for the LEDs, allowing the LEP modules to draw maximum power?
I measured 12 volts and 1 amp, which is not the maximum. I think it could go a bit higher, but I'm not sure if the driver here is converting that to a higher output.
Oh man, that's bright.
Let's see. Trying to find the small bit. So There's a small bit.
It's a little bit of a rainy day today as well, so everything's a touch damp.
Get blind from the...
Yeah, and a bit of grass.
I'll just close my eyes so I don't go blind from the intense beam. Even though it's not reflecting it.
God.
I mean, it's definitely burning.
Yeah.
It's making a black hole either in my eyeballs or...
Chuck this on. Chuck the
Oh,
this
no,
bit
that'll...
there's a bit of grass on.
Nah, it'll probably smoke or something if it's wet.
It seems alright.
Nah, that'll... No.
You just need some darker paper or some... But it's pretty cool that we managed to get through the...
You got
leaf.
3 burn marks with holes in them, but yeah, it's a wet leaf.
Yeah.
So that's pretty intense.
Imagine having a gigantic lens on that thing, like 100mm lens.
Yeah. I think Ted just posted a new video showing all the modules, and one of them's a big light that they use at like massive concerts, and I think it's a 240 watt thing. It's got a really, really big lens.
Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Yeah, it's cost about $2,000 on their website.
Oh,
what they use it for in concerts, like that would be, or maybe it's like pointing up like a...
Oh, mate, is that US dollars? That sounds affordable compared to...
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
But that's, yeah, really, really... I think it can throw 14 kilometers or something insane. But you can get the Ace Beam W50, which is... That's probably one of the most powerful LEP torches. There is another company... I'm trying to think of the name. They've got like military and law enforcement applications, and they're intending them to be used in armies and stuff. But they can throw like 14 kilometers or...
Is this like the same modules that...
Oh yeah, the modules from Blue Lake and Flamingo.
Yeah.
I might link them in the description or the comments, but...
It'll be interesting to see if they can actually get that type of performance out of smaller lenses, because you know the ones that we see from Ted's shop, they're quite big lens setups, and they're more so like demo versions. But whether if you have an aspheric lens, which is like a convex lens, whether that actually reduces the size, I don't know the physics behind it. But
there was some good pointers that... Let me see if I can... Ted was explaining to me that... I can't see anything now if that light's burnt a hole in my eye.
We'll have to walk you back.
Yeah.
We'll have to drive you back.
I'm looking
this.
directly at the dot, but the dot's got like another dot on my eyeball, so don't do that. It might get better. So around the edges, if it's like blue and yellow, I mean, this is a pretty focused beam. But no, this is in focus, so it's fine. But if it was out of focus, I'm not sure if I can demonstrate it.
If there's out of focus, there's some discoloration.
Yeah,
on the
yellow
edges
and
of the beam. Yeah.
Let me try and... Oh, that's just the...
It's hard to see it out here.
It is a shine-through module too, so shine-through is typically white, whereas that the reflective style is it's got like a blue yellow around the edges. We probably should mention that there's like 2 main styles of Laser Excited Phosphor lens or modules. Like how they work is you've got a phosphor layer that's yellow, and you have a blue laser that shines either through the phosphor and produces a white light coming out through a lens, or you've got, so that's called the transmissive or shine through style, where it comes from the back and goes through into the yellow phosphor and emits the white light. Or you've got the reflective style, and the reflective style either has a little black piece in the middle of the lens. So some of these torches, like the W4 Pro, if you shine it really close up, it's going to be really blinding. But there's a little black, you probably can't see it, it's probably too intense on the camera, but there's a little black reflector. So the laser, the blue laser comes up, hits the little black reflective bit, and then goes straight back down and hits the phosphor. and excites it and emits a white beam that comes up through the is it the biconvex lens, so it gets focused and pushed through. You've got different types of reflectors, so there's some newer modules that have the reflector on the corner, so it comes at like a 45-degree angle, so you don't have that little black thing in the middle, so it might have a nicer beam coming out of it. Can't remember what they're called, but it's, yeah, if you look up the different reflective or mirror style modules, they've either got a little square in the middle like a rectangle, or they've got the reflector in the side, and the beam comes up at 45 and comes down, and then it comes up again.
For some reason, I've found that the mirror style ones have quite a significant, slightly higher throw rating. I don't know if that's just me, but
I've noticed that too. Like, I think they're much more intense, and yeah, the flashlight manufacturers are putting bigger lenses on them when they sell them. So the candela is much more. So you can use candela for measurement to figure out the effective beam distance, and that's where these ones come in at like 2.4 roughly kilometers, or around 2 to 3 kilometers of throw, whereas the BT35 is probably around 1 kilometer of throw, which, yeah, can be like a signal light. They're the two types of LEP modules, the shine through transmissive style, and then you've got the mirror style or reflectives with the little reflective mirror, so it goes up and then down and then up again. I think Ted was trying to tell us that the mirror style is probably safer, because if you damage the lens or the mirror, the laser will just stop reflecting off the mirror and it won't go anywhere. Whereas if you damage the phosphor, could potentially have the laser coming through, but it'd be like a catastrophic failure at that point. You'd be just completely smashing the torch to be able to smash the phosphor layer, and yeah, I'd imagine that the lens on the front and everything would be completely cracked and smashed if you're able to smash that phosphor layer.
you'd have to scrape it off. Yeah, I mean, I've damaged LEDs before, just removing them, and yeah, you'd have to scratch off the phosphor to remove it, essentially.
Yep. So I wouldn't try and disassemble the module itself. Like this little module, I wouldn't try to take tweezers at it and rip out the lens and pull bits apart, because yeah, it might be very difficult to reassemble. You don't want a blue laser coming out and blinding you.
It would be cool if they started making some smaller LEP lights. I know you had a sample, like of a really small one. You had made a video in China.
Yep.
Tim just got back from China, by the way. So our previous episode, we were talking a bit about this. So you had a really little Blue Lake like sample. That was cool.
It must have been like this. It's like the Lumen Top pedal or the Thor 1.
Yeah.
It's a 16340 cell from Phoenix with had a micro USB battery, so you can recharge it. But it was literally just a twisty, and it had one mode just on, so you can twist it on and off. And
similar size to the pedal?
Even smaller. So it's literally the width of the 16340 battery, I think.
Yeah, because you were talking about having one, just imagining one of these modules in a Raylight Pineapple, Raylight Pineapple Mini. Imagine that.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. The battery wouldn't last long though.
It would be cool. When I mentioned it, there was about 3 different flashlight resellers or retail stores are like, oh, where can I buy this? Because this would be awesome to sell. So there's 3 different companies going, can you please tell me where I can purchase this and sell it to customers? So if you're the Lumen Top McMahon carrier or someone, if you want to make a little mini flashlight that has a LEP module, even smaller than this one, like just really, really slim, I think, some enthusiasts would love to get their hands on one of those and just play with the module. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's LEP modules.
LEP modules, yeah, and I guess we've gone through a few different LEP lights. I didn't bring a whole lot of them out today. Tim's got a few more here with him, but yeah,
Yep.
I would say they're probably one of my favorite little toys as flashlights. I don't use them a whole lot for anything practical. For those of you who go hunting, maybe, or perhaps you need a light that's just long distance, really long distance light in a smaller package. Because as you can see, you got this, you
Yep.
know, you got this one here, which is the Wuben A1. How much is it? Two something kilometers of throw, but it's
Yeah,
gigantic.
2.5 was pretty good.
Yeah, but then you can have something like this next to its T20L. Of course, it doesn't produce anywhere near the amount of lumen output, but you still get the same amount of throw in a smaller flashlight like that. And that was something that was never possible until this tech was invented recently. So, yeah, really check it out. If obviously you have to stomach the price tag.
I think Weltool's done a really good job at making different types of tactical LEP torches. So you can get, I think it's a Weltool WT65. It's like a weapon-mounted one where it's got a little bit of a wider beam, and then you got the Weltool W1, which also has a little bit more lumens. So it's like slightly wider beam, good for hunting, or yeah, it is a tactical rail mount. I think the W65 or WT65. I found that at least in Australia, most people have like a swivel stud on their wooden rifles. Like the stock's made out of wood, and they got like a little swivel stud for holding over their shoulder and stuff. But you can get the tactical rails, and yeah, these are probably set you back like somewhere between $300 and $600, depending on the particular model of Weltool LEP torch that you get. And Lumentop, they're doing a pretty good job at creating different EDC, like little luxury torches, because this one's got like RGB lights and it's all bling and like glow sticks in the back.
Does this have a tail? It's got a tail switch as well. Operate through a tail
Yeah,
switch.
it's got like tail switch, and
Yeah.
it's
Ooh,
like something
wow.
you'd expect some executive to have in their office as like a some little luxury item.
Yeah.
It's probably a good gift, but it's a bit expensive. Really need to have some like lower cost LEP modules that are tiny. Well, not the modules, but the torches themselves. Like, yeah.
I suppose once they get a little cheaper, like I asked Simon from Convoy whether he was going to introduce one or not. I said it would probably sell quite well, but he says that the modules are just too expensive at the moment for him to even consider it. But perhaps when they get more efficient at producing them, kind of like the way we have. I mean, the closest thing for those people who maybe can't stomach the price of the LEPs, because they are, yeah. I mean, apart from the BT35 that Tim mentioned, I think that's a pretty good deal. I don't have a whole lot of them. I've just got a couple of Next Torch ones. Those are great because they have a tactical kind of interface on them.
Yep.
But if you can't get, I guess the next alternative is to get something like, something like the Osram W1, W2, and a smaller hose.
Yep.
Those are like a good.
Convoy has a lot of them.
Yeah, they got something like was the C8 Plus, the.
Even Wuben, I think, yeah, they got that T4. It's like it's a W2 or
The T4. Yeah, it is the Osram W2.
Like
That's going to be released pretty soon. We've got our videos coming out for those
Yeah.
in May 20, I think.
I keep thinking of yeah.
But
I have to think about W2 because I think of like Osram CSL NM1 TG is like the white module W1, but then I'm not sure if the W2 is the CSL PM1 or if it's the CULN.
They're both. I think the CSL PM1 is the
Like a rectangular
30. It's still 30/30 footprint. CUL PM1 is again the same rectangular, but like is it like 40/40? I think 40/40 footprint. So it's supposedly better heat conductivity. It has slightly higher output apparently, but yeah, I don't see that one around too much. So it's just mainly the CSL PM1.
Oh, it'd be cool to see
out
that.
there.
Yeah, the Fireflies, I guess, shout out to Jack. And yeah, they've got those little custom LEDs, and think, did someone do a special request? There's like a circular, it's like the SFT40, but they got a circular version from Firefly.
Circular SFT40.
Yeah, it's like similar footprint, but it's got a circular phosphor.
Yeah.
So when you center that inside a reflector, it's going to have a nice beam.
Is it like that W5050 LED SQ3? Which is a sort of round LEDs. Or Simon uses them in these Convoy Z. Oh, I can't remember what it is. Z1. I reviewed it recently. Should know this. The
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Should have brought that one actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, those are those are good alternatives, I suppose, if you want a long distance flashlight. It's an alternative to an LEP, and their LEPs, as we were talking about and demonstrated before, you see there's not really much spill. There's basically no spill. So, for those of you in the States purchasing light maybe for self-defense purposes as well, it's going to be very difficult to, really aim this up close on someone. I mean, if you were to do it, it would be very effective, but...
Just randomly pull out a TA30C.
Yeah.
Like, this is much more effective.
Yeah, because you don't really need to aim it that. You just aim it in that direction, and you're gonna.
I guess if you're in Australia, you can't use a torch for self-defense purposes. You can't buy one for that. But
yeah, we were talking about this. We were talking about this before with him. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, it's not legal to carry items for self-defense in Australia. Like in most states, pretty sure all states and territories, you can't have an item that's used for self-defense purposes because you've got like the intent to cause harm or...
But if you carry it for EDC purposes...
I mean, yeah, we carry heaps of torches for EDC. I just had this in my pocket randomly. I also had the M2. But
I've checked my TikTok. Someone commented on my TikTok, because we both have posted our videos on there as well. And he said something like, it's funny how Australian EDC is just torchlights and screwdrivers.
Yep. Oh, we can't carry... Yeah, for EDC, can't carry knives, obviously, unless you're going to a picnic and you're actually going to cut apples or cheese or something.
Yeah, or you got to go to work and you got a multi-tool with you or something like that. Yep. But otherwise
I'll still carry like a multi-tool around when I need to use it for some reason. Like, I'm finding I'm always needing to use it for... I was visiting my parents before, and I'd go with my daughter, and there's always random situations like, oh, can you grab my screwdriver and fix the glasses? And I'm like, okay, we grab that. Yeah. Or scissors and cutting nails. And
what do you use your multi-tools these days?
Oh, like a Victorinox compact is like my favorite EDC type of thing. It's really nice and discreet, shove it in your pocket, and it's just got like the scissors, and probably got me on a tangent, but
yeah, we're going on a bit of a tangent.
I think Victorinox announced they're going to have like a whole series of, I'm not sure if it was April Fool's, it's not exactly April now, but I've been wanting them to create like a whole bunch of just EDC knives or multi-tools with no knives on them, and they've announced that they're going to make
Australian
a bunch
EDC.
They're going to make a bunch of little multi-tools, hopefully like the compact with no blade on it.
Oh yeah, for bringing onto planes and stuff.
Oh, just being in the UK or Australia where you're not really allowed to carry knives.
Well, and especially these days on the news, we've had a few of these knife attacks.
Oh yeah, that's not good. I don't think but it's a whole market of, like, this won't stop it if people come and grab kitchen knives and stuff like that, but at least I think there's the whole big market there for EDC, just to have no knives in Australia at least, and people still want to have their tools, and got Leathermans and stuff, and people like playing with tools. It's like a whole, it's like boys' toys type thing. I try and justify the tools, like torches, like 100 something torches now.
Yeah,
but
it was good that we talked a little bit about these new LEP modules, the kits that you can demo kits that you get, because this is really quite exciting. It's the first time that people like any hobbyists, people like you and I, can just go and purchase these directly and have a play around. If you're any good, you're a bit of a hobbyist and you're good with electronics, you can connect them up into a flashlight yourself. So, and I mean, the price that you pay for these is also pretty decent if you know how to put them into a hose. So I want to talk to you about this, Tim, and see how we can do it. I don't, with my module, I don't know. That's why Tim was saying what's it, the NT2 module?
Yeah, the NT2, it's got 3 screws.
Yeah, it's almost like the heat sink is right at the base, so you can put that into a light to the, like a shelf. It has a shelf there and a bit of thermal paste and almost like the MPCB, yeah.
So you could just probably make
MCPCB.
do by screwing them straight into a shelf of the host.
Yeah, you might have to drill a few holes in there, but that would seem your best bet. And it doesn't produce as much heat as the other version that I have, which is going to need a much larger.
I wonder if you could do that in a Z1, like a Convoy Z1. Like,
that one, yeah.
Yeah, you could just remove the LED module, and it might be too long.
Yeah.
But if it's an aspheric lens,
Do you reckon you could connect the Convoy driver directly onto this, or would that?
I probably need to have a custom driver, and I need to check the output.
Yeah.
So there are data sheets for each of these modules that you can get. It's worth reading.
Out.
Need to make sure the right voltage. That's one thing that's. I'll turn this off. Yeah, one thing that's a little bit tricky about the LEP modules and integrating them, you need to get the read through the data sheet, understand what the voltage is and the current required for operating them, because they're all different. They've all got like slightly different voltages and current requirements, which can make it a bit tricky, because if they come out with a new module, like the NR1 Uni, I think is a popular one. It's probably, I can't mention who it's used by, but let's just think about the most powerful LEP torch on the market. So the NR1 Uni is used in that, and then it's now upgraded to the NR2 Uni, which has like, I think it's got 4 lasers pointing to the phosphor.
Wow.
Or it might be, yeah, it's NR1.
That's the 120 watt.
It's either 50 watt.
Yeah.
I think it's 50 watts or 100 watts.
Yep.
One of the two.
I wonder why no torch companies have used the real high-powered LEP modules that TED sells. The 240 watt one is just a heat dissipation limitation, or they're just, I guess, there's such a target small market. Most people are not going to be able to afford a $5,000 light. I mean,
yeah,
madness really. If you think
it's just going to be used for military use. So if you want to see stuff kilometers away, yeah, or on a ship. I think that was probably the best use case I saw. People just having these on the front of ships and just lighting up the ocean and seeing along.
Oh wow! Yeah.
But it's not lighting up the whole ocean because it's very narrow, so you can have it like a spotlight, and it just, really directional spotlight and lighting up where you need it.
That's a military application for them to spot.
Yeah, if the Navy and stuff, just chuck it on the front of a ship. Or, I mean, commercial, private vessels could probably just buy them too and use them.
Yeah, less, and there's no spill as well. So, I mean, you're going to be able to see that beam through the night, but it's harder to pinpoint the location unless you've, compared to using a huge floody light.
So, minimal spill. But there's heaps of applications, but I don't think flashlight companies are going to make a lot of 240 watt flashlights or putting those modules in them. Maybe specialist companies that are designing stuff for concerts, or if you want to have like awesome lighting. I went to a concert recently and saw all the downlights, and that reminded me of the ASPM M2, and I guess they've got LEDs there for controlling them, but you can see them on drones as well. They got LEP modules on drones, and you can direct the angle of the beam, and looks really cool.
Well, what would be cool is getting LEP modules that produce different colors as well, without a filter on the front, kind of like the NM1, Osram W1 with the green, or whether you can change the phosphor and produce a different colored LEP.
Jeez,
because it's
cool.
blue laser, so you have to convert the blue laser somehow into another color, right?
I think they can do it, but
that's
high
insane.
cost. Like the high cry, they've got high cry LEPs, which I didn't even know. I thought everything was sort of low cry.
Wow.
But they do have high cry, but it's a bit more expensive because they assuming they just make smaller batches of them. So
That's unusual. Yeah.
if they can, there's a whole. Just thinking. Yeah, on the previous podcast we talked about visiting Flamingo and how they do the phosphor in a completely different city in Wuxi. But you check out that episode if you haven't. We go into more detail of where the phosphor's made and all that. But yeah, I think it's the high cry stuff's in there's much lower production. But yeah, it would be cool if they could make it green and yellow or amber and blue. I really like the blue.
Oh man, I'll be keen on a green one, like because we know with green LEDs how far they throw.
Yep.
I'm obsessed with them. I'm getting a couple of NM1 F1 LEDs come in soon.
They're slightly better than the CSL NM1 TG, like the white ones. I think you get a little bit more throw with the green ones.
Oh yeah, I brought up some tests. I think we were going through it together.
Yep.
Some of those DJs test and BLF.
Yep.
Looking
On
at
Budget Light Forum, he has heaps of tests.
With the same 5 amps, you get I think close to double the output of the NM1 F1. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yep.
I wonder how that works. Maybe that frequency of light.
It is so much more affordable getting the Osram.
Yeah.
NM1 or W1 and W2.
But you need a really big reflector to be able to produce that amount of throw.
Yeah.
I mean, this is...
And you get heaps of spill with the...
Yeah. I mean, the PM1 F1 has a slightly larger hotspot, but it's somewhat comparable to the NM1. The NM1 just produces a similar sort of throwy beam, but with like a little bit more throwy than the PM1, but with less spill.
The Convoy L8 is pretty good too.
Oh yeah, that's got the same LED in it, but the large reflector just focuses the beam much more.
Pretty heavy. Oh, and the CSL, the Convoy L21B. So this is turning into an episode about Convoy.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
But yeah, the L21B's got a whole bunch of like the NM1 emitter, or you can use SFT40 and. Jacob or Piercing the Darkness has done a whole heap of videos on his YouTube channel showing all the different comparisons between the Convoy L21B because he requested Simon to make the lightweight shell for hunting purposes. So you could just attach it takes a 21700 battery and you can fit it on top of a scope really easily using a scope clamp, and it's kind of a lightweight version of the L21A. I think they might have improved the driver too, because initially, I'm not sure if the output would go hard and fast and then drop, and you might get better performance on the newer drivers. But
yeah. Like a few different drivers for that light. I have a couple of those L21Bs, but it seems like, Tim, you're pretty into throwers as well. Would you say that's your kind of your preference, what you like in flashlights these days?
Yeah, I'm still really having a lot of fun with these throwers.
Yeah.
And I was like a kid in a candy store looking at all these modules. Couldn't stop grinning while I was in Flamingo.
Yeah.
Just kept saying like, yep, they're so cool.
Yeah. And I think they're getting more and more affordable, especially if you buy them separately. You know a little bit about electronics, so we'll link also in the video later once we edit it, and we'll pop it up also in the description. You'll be able to get a discount to these modules. And Ted's got how many on there? And I think about 12 different modules that you can purchase. So the cheapest one is about $60 US, I think. And that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty decent.
Is that like the NT2 or something?
It might be. Yeah, it's a 6 watts. So only I think pretty about 400 lumens.
That might be the one that they use on the lumen top.
Yep.
Pedal. Yeah.
But as Tim was saying, that is probably the best one to start off with, and if you want to put it into a light, because that bottom shelf, the heatsink at the bottom, just makes it so universally adaptable to many different hosts.
Yep.
So
I think from Hamoda's perspective, it's much easier to start with. If you're a flashlight company, go ahead and grab the threaded one, because you can just go and create the aluminium threading and get the right diameter, but it's a lot more difficult for like amateur or flashlight enthusiasts to just go and create a host and have the right threading diameter.
Yeah.
So this is much easier to get started with. You just can plonk it onto an existing shelf, screw it in, and good to go. Like anyone can go and grab some. You just grab a drill and some taps, and you can like drill a little hole in, and then you can use a tap to thread the hole so that you can put little screws in properly. And that's another. You end up spending a lot of money on the little taps and stuff. It was probably like $5 or $15, and you might end up getting like $60 worth of tools to try and install the module.
I'm excited to see what you end up doing with yours, man. Whether because you have so much technical knowledge with electronics, and pairing that with the driver and putting it into a light. I think the machine, like ideally you wouldn't want to machine a light, but just something that you could swap in, maybe chuck on the lens, and
I'll grab
not
a
too much trouble.
Convoy, yeah.
A Convoy, yeah. What do you reckon? Like an S?
I'll grab a Convoy Z1 or
Z1.
something bigger and put a biconvex lens, or maybe a Wolfire's. Like you've seen the Wolfire's seal.
the aspheric lens, would that not work with this unit?
It may or may not. I'm not sure. I'll need to find the right focal point, and because they just need to be balanced perfectly.
I might try to take mine out of my light later and just see if it works, if we can plonk it off on the front, and whether
Notice
it
yours
works.
doesn't come off. I think it's like screwed in there. Or
Yeah, because I went onto the website as well, Ted's website, and there's two different versions of these modules. When you
the zoomable and fixed.
but even I can't remember what. I'd have to look it up again. But there's two different, something to do with the actual modules themselves. There's two types that I didn't quite understand. But
I think for the the TX rather, it's the threaded version, and you've got the zoomable or fixed, and they change the layers of the module depending on whether, I think the aperture gets changed if it's a zoomable one, so that it supports having the zooming.
Okay.
I think they changed the aperture on the actual module itself slightly to accommodate having a zoomable lens.
Maybe I was trying to look it up, but it's
NT2 comes in like 3 different versions, I think. I think you got like fixed zoomable, and then you got the polar, where it's got this strip, so it makes like a ellipse, so it's got this like a bike light type pattern going on. But yeah, there's heaps of different modules. I think there's like 20 something, but it was only a dozen on the website so far.
Yeah, and we'll do some other beam shots with these as well later on in another video, just to compare both of the modules.
Be really cool. I'm really impressed with how the flashlight companies have integrated the modules. Like the test kit looks pretty cool, but just seeing the
finished product,
the finished product, the accuracy of the beam, how tight it is, and it's really nice with the Lumentop, Weltool, McMahon, and the next torch.
And it would take a lot of trial and error and programs to find out that perfect focal point, the perfect lens to use, making sure that there's no discoloration. There's so much to keep in mind, and have it all in just a neat little package that you can pull out and use. It's quite amazing. So
I wonder how they accommodate that. Because they've got the software for reflectors I think that's quite expensive for flashlight manufacturers to have that software.
It does some calculations behind the scenes, I guess, Yeah.
Oh, that's all for mostly reflectors, calculating the angle, but I'm not sure about having these biconvex lenses and how they go about.
Yeah.
If it's a manual calculation that the designer needs to do, or the engineer, when they're trying to.
It's interesting because when you turn on the LEPs without the lens on, it just looks pretty much like an LED light without a reflector. On it.
I can give it a go,
but
it might blind you.
Yeah.
It's not that intense. It's okay.
Yeah. But when you actually focus these, when you put a reflector or a lens on the front, it actually focuses down to a really significantly smaller point of light and a more intense point of light than an LED, because I probably to do with the dye surface, that how bright the dye surface is for such a small. I don't know, with the NM1 it's like 1 by 1 millimeter.
Yep.
But I don't know what these are because they're kind of in some lens.
I'm not
What the
too
phosphor
sure.
would be. It
Yeah,
seemed
that's
real
like
tiny.
the secret sauce that they won't let us know about.
And we don't want to crack them open because we stuff it probably.
I think there's like 6 or something layers inside there with the module and
It's a metal substrate. I had a look at it. Metal substrate, and then you got the phosphor, and it shines through, and magic. It's
yep.
yeah.
So yeah, it's nice that they make them available now to the public.
Yeah.
It was all sort of a mystery like a year ago. We didn't know who was making these, and now we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's pretty much the end of this episode. And if you guys have any questions, let us know down in the comments. And same if you have comments, suggestions on how we could make these episodes better, let us know. We're open to all kinds of feedback, even if it's a stylistic thing. We actually got some spanking brand new microphones, so the audio should be pretty good.
Got them all. Got the Rode, got the DJI.
Yeah. Well, we didn't actually mention where we're at the moment. We're out in Ferntree Gully.
The Quarry Reserve.
Yeah.
It's a torch meetup, Melbourne, here.
East part of Melbourne. We're going to try to get more people, besides the two of us.
Yep.
Besides, we didn't give anyone much notice. It was like 2 days notice.
Yep.
But maybe next month we can organise something that's just, looks like it seems pretty popular over in the States. Over here, there's only a few of us.
Best time of the year,
torch
winter.
nutters, yeah.
Everything's nice and dark and we can see the stars, and I don't know what we saw before. It was like 12 satellites going past just as the sun, the Earth was blocking the sun, and it was the last minute you could see a stream of satellites coming across the sky.
Well, I thought it was this Musk Starlink thing, but maybe Tim, you think it could be UFOs?
No, I think it's some kind of low G thing. It looked really close. I was surprised.
Yeah. We should have pulled the camera out. It was actually really nice to watch.
Like Christmas in July type thing with
Yeah.
Santa's sleigh or something type thing going on.
It's really nice out here. You can actually see all the stars. I live near the city, so there's nothing. It's just smog. There's just nothing. It's light pollution everywhere.
So yeah, this is a nice spot. I think as long as we don't annoy one house on the hill over there with our intense torches.
We could point all the LEPs there and wake him up.
No. But yeah, there's a big mountain to point stuff at.
Yeah. Alrighty. Cool. See you next time.
Yep. See ya.